Today is in Australia 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's now 4 January 2019, and it's 3 January in America, and I think it's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we'll just kick off this worldwide market update. And maybe, Tertius, what we need to do is to answer a few questions quickly, if that's okay, before me just jumping into the report. And all of us, we've read the report, we've seen it, and let's see if there's any questions.
Awesome. I think that would be fantastic, Morris. Guys, any questions? Post them in a chat box, or unmute yourself and just ask the question. So just some New Year's wishes there in the chat box.
Absolutely.
Marius, this is Charlie Ray in Phoenix, Arizona.
There we go.
Yes, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Awesome.
Listen, I just wanted to ask about, will we ever be able to place sell orders on the cryptocurrencies on Bitcoin, or do we only are we only able to ride up with a buy order?
You can. Are you meaning sell Bitcoin on your own exchange? Because we at Python Signals, we don't do that. Yes,
I think I didn't know if anybody really did that, or it was just not available to do. Because when you're doing the world markets, like the anything else in the world markets, you can place sell orders and buy orders. So you can ride the market up and you can ride the market down. So I didn't know if that was done in the Bitcoin world or the crypto world.
Yes, most exchanges, 99% of them allow you to buy stocks, and it also allows you to sell it. You can also short the market. So yes, you can do it depending on what exchange you are. Bitfinex and Binance, they both do it. So yes, that is possible.
Oh, okay, but you don't ever do it.
No, we at Python Signals don't do it. What we do is we provide you a report, which is information that you can use to trade with.
Okay.
So right now at the moment, for example, if you look at the screen, I hope you can see my screen there, Tertius. Can you see that? It should show an inverted head and shoulders.
No, don't see it.
Oh, is there nothing there? Okay, let me just go back again. Let's just stop that. Sometimes the screen sharing just doesn't work properly, but let's see. Okay. There we go. That may solve the problem.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming in now.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
Got it now.
So, for example, what we are seeing here now is, and we went through this last week, you can see that the market came down here on the left-hand side. It broke through there, came all the way down here. Incidentally, what has happened is the market has formed a left shoulder, a head, and then right now is doing some sort of a distorted right-hand shoulder. Now, eventually what's going to happen is we're going to follow that little blue line there, where the market is going to break out upwards very, very soon, probably before Friday. And in one of my messages, I mentioned that the market will break out before this weekend, before Friday. So we've got about 12 to 24 to 30 hours perhaps before the market then actually breaks out upwards there. And then we say the market is then going to go up to about that 34%. Probably slightly more, probably around about 36%. But as per the report, we're probably going to go and hit that level of 5,337. We don't know exactly where that high point is. It can be 5.5, 5.3, 5,000, or even 4.9. But once we break the 5,000 level, that is where we recommend that we get out of the market with a certain percentage of our cryptocurrencies. So for example, if we do follow that blue line and we head up here to 10 January, 10 January is still the high point. All we've just got a sideways movement going on here, which is a little bit longer. And sometimes, let me just quickly explain that, and this comes into your question also about what we provide. We provide a report that you can use to trade with. The market should have probably done something like this, you know, and gone sideways maybe here, and then go up. But we see that that sideways action there is actually just happening just a little bit lower. So that in essence is not really a big problem for us. You know, we simply just stay in the market and we ride the wave out. Now, we are going to get this little uptrend there, and it's most likely going to be a spike upwards that will catch many people off guard. Because remember, many people look at this drop and they go like, oh, I need to get out of the market. I need to safeguard my money or my cryptos. And that is the problem what a lot of people do, and they get out of the market. But look at this little wedge, those two pink lines. It's forming a wedge which indicates it's coming down to that little apex and is going to push out upwards, break that little pink line there, which is the 3.9 level, consolidate basically there, and then shoot upwards. So guys, we are on the verge in the next 7 days to make 30 to 40% only in Bitcoin, but about 70, 80, or even 100% in certain other cryptocurrencies. And we have provided the top 40 cryptocurrency report. So please look through that report, select those coins that you want to buy that will give you the biggest return. So I hope that answers your question. You can definitely go to Binance and Bitfinex. And yes, you can buy, sell, as well as short the market. Now, just remember, we here at Python Signals, we don't do day trading and we don't short the market either. Sorry, let me just quickly. I'm just going to mute everybody. Sorry, I'm just going to mute everybody here and then just unmute yourself if you want to talk. Over to you.
Thank you, Myris. I understand that now. So you really don't recommend shorting the market, and that's fine. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, look, you can do it, but I will tell you how I made the most money. I made the most money by swing trading. Like here on the bottom, if you look at here on the bottom, somewhere there is where I started buying. And if you go back to the older reports, we actually mentioned that people should start getting in. I think it was about 3.6. And we also said that risk-adverse investors can actually get in earlier. So if you are one of those people that got in earlier here, and of course, you know, at the high points there, we take profits and we come and buy back again. And it's very difficult to find those high points. But if you got in on the bottom and you never ever sold, you would have already, let's say if we bought there, you would have already made about 17% only in Bitcoin. But in other altcoins, there are coins that we've made 60% profit. And remember, when you make profit, you take your profit. You know, don't be greedy and just hold stuff, you know. So we do swing trades. We don't do day trading. Day trading is the quickest way to lose your money. And I've seen so many people that have lost a lot of money in day trading. You have to be very careful. The problem with day trading, let me explain it to you this way. So let's say you're getting here on the bottom at that point there, and you're going to ride this market up. And now let's say the market does go up, and you can take your profit for that day, but you have to sit in front of the computer, you have to watch it all day. But what if the market then suddenly starts dropping backwards and you start losing money? For example, if you catch it wrong, so let's say here at that point there, let me just zoom it in, for example. It's very difficult to catch these highs, you know, to say where's Bitcoin going to break out. I'm on the hour chart. So this breakout here had literally happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. If you sleep at night, you're not going to catch that. But let's say if that market goes up and somebody buys there and the market starts dropping, you know, that drop where you lose your money is incredible. If you lose 50% of $100,000, the market then has to go up 100% just for you to gain that 50% back. So you don't want to lose money. You know, and as I say, I know a handful of people that are very good at day trading. If that is what you do full time, yes, that's fine, go for it. But here at Bitcoin Trend and Forecast or Python Signals, we don't do day trading. We don't short the market either, but it's not to say that you don't or that you mustn't do it. I don't know, what is your feeling, Tertius? I
Wow,
don't know
you're
if
really
there's
cutting out.
anybody. Yeah, Tertius
Yeah,
just.
you're breaking up quite a bit there. You're breaking quite a bit there, Maurice. But I think we get the gist of your message. You know, for guys who are making a career of this and are spending their hours behind the screens, day trading may be an option. But I think for most of us, you know, we're looking at the swing trades. We're looking at relying on the analysis of folks like yourself, and that's one of the reasons why we're involved with Python Signals.
Absolutely. I don't agree with day trading at all. But I just had the question about getting in on a sell. So, okay. You answered my question, Marius. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's good. But it's an important question. It's a really important question. The other thing is also, you know, if you short the market when the market drops, the timeline, to figure out the timeline of Bitcoin when the market is going to drop at a certain time and what the price is going to be at a certain date and time is, I tell you, completely and utterly impossible. What we have discovered over time with Bitcoin, and I showed that to my staff here over this week, it's incredible how, I don't know how to phrase this, but let me come out and say it how we see it. I believe there's a computerized system that is programmed to run the price of Bitcoin. And we have found the evidence in this week. Because the way that the price of Bitcoin works is not a natural way according to how sentiment and all the other indicators that we find in the market works. And the reason I'm saying this is because if this is a computerized system that is pre-programmed to run at a certain price, at a certain level, which somebody sits there and or a group of people, and they completely manipulate the price of Bitcoin. If that is the case, then it's very, very difficult to make money out of this on day trading, but you can make money out of Bitcoin from swing trading. Because those programmers know what the system is going to do. And those people that manipulate the market want to make profits as well. They are going to run the markets up and they're going to run the markets down. And this is what I've always been saying since we came out with my algorithm, is that I found that there are certain patterns, certain programs, certain cycles that keep repeating themselves over and over and over in a certain sequence. Now that sequence has now changed very suddenly in the beginning of the 1st of January, but we picked it up. Now we're back to the sequence again. And what is going to happen is that we see that this market is going to break out upwards, and at this high point here, it's going to drop. And let me tell you the psychology behind this. If I am right here, what they do is they get people in because everybody now is talking about, look, there's going to be a spike and the market is going to go up, and everybody starts buying now and everybody gets in. Now what happens is, remember back in 2017, 6 December, when we recommended to our subscribers and said, get out of the market at 19,500. This is exactly the same. I see the same pattern now, the same sentiment. Now, people are going to start getting in here. The market is going to go up and people are going to get excited. And they're going to start talking about this on social media. Then the market is going to go sideways a little bit, and then we're going to have a bit of a jump. And then once we get over $4,000, a lot of people are going to start buying in. And as the market moves up and up and up and up over the next 4, 5, 6 days, millions and millions of dollars are going to flow into cryptocurrencies. And people are going to start fearing that they're going to miss out. You know the word FOMO? And they're going to start buying. And as the market goes up, they buy, 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 buy. This is just a 6 December, you know, where the market spiked upwards in a very minor or small format. And people will buy and buy and buy. And here right at the top, believe it or not, right there at the top where we are supposed to sell, people are going to start buying a lot more. And my message to you guys is that we should not buy above the $5,000 mark, you shouldn't get in. You should consider at that point to start taking profit, like take 10% off the table, cash it in. As the market goes higher, we take another 10% off very slowly. You don't sell all your money or all your cryptos. So you start getting out while the rest of the world, the moms and dads, the soccer moms, everybody will start flowing in and they'll start buying cryptos because it's going up. At that point, when they buy, we get out of the market slowly get out, and we wait for that apex. I just do not see Bitcoin going higher than this resistance point here of that level there, that 5377. Remember what we said is this same length of a head and shoulder, that same distance upwards. If you duplicate that distance here and you put that distance there, that is the maximum return that you will most probably 90% of the time get from a head and shoulders. And that point there is 5518. Now at this point, as soon as we get over 5,000, I'm going to sell 10% of my portfolio. As we get higher, I sell another 10%. And I'll put that in the report so that we can get out of the market on the high. And as we get higher, I sell another 10%. And then I wait for the market, because what's going to happen here is we're going to see a definite uptrend, a spike upwards, and we're going to see a definite retracement. Once we see that retracement, you should be out of the market at that point. Now, I'd rather take this. Now, let me just zoom in here. We're going to see about another 35 to 40%, exactly as per the report, you know, where we say that there's going to be a 40% spike. That 40% goes up to that level there of 5337. It could be a little bit low. If it's at 5,000, it's about a 34% gain. Now remember, this is only for Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies like, for example, NEO, when this goes up, it's going to go up a lot more. Like NEO, for example, where Bitcoin does a 30% rise, NEO will do about a 70% rise. Okay, so just keep that in mind. OMG, the same. You look at this, for example, also a head and shoulder, exactly the same. A little bit of a distorted head and shoulders, but eventually the market is going to go upwards here to that point and then spike into between 10 and 12 January to be the high point, probably about there. Now, if I take that distance there and say from here to just underneath that little support line there, you can see that we are already at 72% gain that we can make. So that's our target on EOS. And if you look at the top 40 crypto report, you'll see the target is still 71% from memory. So that is the target. Now let's go back to Bitcoin and have a look at Bitcoin. Now remember, there's that target, that resistance point. I don't believe we're going to break that. Now when you go back here, see there's that resistance point. You can literally pull that right down to that little level there, and you'll find about 5,200. So from about 5,000 upwards till about 5337, that is where your high point will be. So right there. So between these two red lines, that's where we're going to sell. So all we are waiting for now is just simply that little spike upwards for the movement of upwards. And let's just quickly have a look at the latest report as well. The latest report, can you see that, Tertius? Just show your thumbs up if you guys can see the latest report.
Not yet, Morris. We still see your Bitcoin graph, your BTC USD.
Okay, let me just quickly go back here and say stop sharing, and I will share again. Okay, there we go. Just let me know when you can see the screen there. It should start with happy. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Got it.
So on 30 December, we said that Bitcoin has 40% to go and strong alts about 80%. Now, this is the algorithm pattern that we are going to play out. Now, very interesting. If you look at this section here, from there to there, that actually has come down. And this market here is going a lot more sideways till probably about there. And then it's going to break out with a vertical move upwards. So the pattern always plays itself out. We do believe that we're going to get that high point of 5337. So, and here's a good example. See the sideways action here on this chart? That sideways action is just playing out a little bit further on this side here. So eventually what's going to happen is that we're going to have a spike upwards, sideways, and then up to 5337. So that still stands. And this is why we say, just for the person who also asked that question before, what we do is we play the trend. So we get in here on the bottom, and we ride that whole wave up right to the top. We get in on the bottom, get out on the high. And this whole move, now think about it, we've already made about in NEO about 70%. Sold on the high points and got out and bought back here. So I'll make another 70% on my money again. And some of you actually made a lot of money on certain altcoins that you got in and may have sold, or even if you have kept it, there's a big chance that you can make 70, 80, 90, 100% profit on many of your altcoins just by holding it. So you don't necessarily have to sell. These were good entry points, even if you bought now at 37. Remember what we said? I think it's some of the posts we said that the 37 is the entry point. I just don't find it here on this, but maybe have a look at the updates as well, or the previous reports. That 37 is a good entry point. And if you are there now, that's good. It's also a good buying opportunity now, because we are going to see that spike upwards. There's just a new indicator. I hope this brings value to you. It just says probability for algorithm analysis to play out as indicated is about 92%. So we give it a high figure at the moment. The price volatility is 72%, just meaning that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, a lot of ups and then suddenly down. And don't let these things play with your emotions. You know, just keep your emotions aside. Trade objectively. Manipulation, we see it's about 12%. It's low. One of the reasons why manipulation is low is because we follow 17 wallets. Those wallets, as soon as the market goes to a high and they don't want the markets to go too high, they use these wallets and they start selling cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin. Because if you control Bitcoin, you control all other cryptocurrencies. And those wallets start selling Bitcoin. Now, we know it's manipulated because if you look at Coinbase, and all these wallets are associated with Coinbase, if Bitcoin, for example, is 3,600, the average buy, the market buy, these wallets would go and sell Bitcoin for 3,650, for example, just a little bit lower. The only way you can do it is if you know somebody in Coinbase that goes and does that manually and puts the price in and say, force the sale at 3650 or 3640. And these wallets would come and sell 5 Bitcoin at that price, then 10, 15, and then maybe 5 again, 10 and 15 again. And it's interesting that they sell in these increments of 5. And it's also interesting that they sell every 5 minutes. So that's manipulation. You know, it's a computerized system that's probably set up to do these things. So going forward this year, guys, we are working on a model that will pick up this manipulation so that we know where the market goes. Ultimately, even if there is manipulation, we will still be able to figure out the low points and the high points. Now, these wallets, very interesting. Why we say manipulation is low? These wallets have now started to accumulate Bitcoin. When they start to accumulate Bitcoin, it means they're not going to drop it very quickly. That's why we also say the market's going to go up. So finding manipulation, I don't like the word manipulation, but let's call it price suppression maybe. Now, finding this price suppression information is very valuable for us going forward, because as soon as they start selling in huge numbers, we will know the market is going to go down. When they buy, we know the market is going to go up. So the crypto market sentiment is, we've got some rising optimism. People are getting very, very excited about the market, but just keep in mind, you know, don't get caught in optimism, because rising optimism will ultimately get people to buy Bitcoin at 5,000, at 5,200 just before the market drops, and you will lose a lot of money. So it's a good time to buy now, but anything above about 4.7, I would not even get into the market. I would not buy anything above 4.7. You need to actually get into the market now. Then positive crypto news and conditions is about 43%, and that's rising. And then we also look at aggravation or anger on social media. That's about 27%. It's actually gone down now to about 26. So it's stable. So those are good indicators to tell us also that the market from a kind of like a subjective perspective is also going up. Some of these are actually objective information. Now just remember, although we say buy and sell, this is not financial advice. Okay. So yeah, Tertius, let's just get back to that chart. Just let me know if you can see the chart there.
Yeah, we can see the chart again. I think it's important for you also, you know, I was quite excited to see when you said that there was a lot of volatility going to be coming, because we find that very often in the beginning of the year, throughout Bitcoin's history, especially around, you know, the birthday of the first Genesis block, around about the third, fourth, there's a lot of volatility. And I know some of the guys that are doing day trading are actually almost going 24/7 through this time to take advantage of that volatility. But that's not a game that I want to get involved with again. I mean, I've been there, done that, and lost my money, so not going there again.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, Tertius. Yeah, that's very interesting. And again, you know, this is the thing. We are here to preserve capital. You don't want to lose $1. So you have to be very, very careful what you do. And look, the year, there's 12 months for us. We're going to make a lot of money in this 12 months. And I explained this actually to a guy yesterday who's a big investor, and he wants to invest about $2 million in Bitcoin. And he wants to go to the risky approach by, as soon as we identify the market is on the low, he wants to get in. Now, we can identify that point, but sometimes you always get it wrong. Okay, a typical example is here. At this point here, right when the market was there, I remember that I said to my staff and said, that is the low. I can't see it going lower. And we all agreed. We had a look at all technical data, you name it, we had a look at it. That is the low of the market. We started buying there, just at that point. So the market went up and it came back down, and we were actually excited about this drop here because we said, yes, that is an indicator that the market is going to go upwards. And if it spikes up here, it's going to go up. So it spiked up and we started buying back again there, and we start spending a little bit more money here, and look what the market did. The market went down, down, down. So that, over that, it was actually over a 2 or 3 day period, caught us completely off guard. Although we knew we were very close to the market, it didn't really matter. We didn't sell anything, we kept it, and the market started turning around. Now, for the reason I'm saying this is, and let me just draw a block here, and I'm going to show you now what we do when we are conservative. Okay, we want to trade this block here. Every single time we want to trade this block. So we don't get in right here at the bottom because the market can drop further. We wait for a confirmed uptrend. That kind of was a confirmed uptrend as well, that little spike. Same as what we had there actually, you know. So it can sometimes catch you off guard. And this is why we said that when we enter the markets, we start entering at about 3.6 if you want to play it safe. Risky investors can start entering here. Now, if you, this is what we call the sandwich play. You don't get it. Let me just mark that as well, just with a circle. Let me just make that a little bit a color that everybody can see. Okay, so that pink block there, and I'm just going to make this one green. Okay, so this block here, the pink is not where we want to play. We want to get out before that happens. So we get somewhere here on the bottom. That's when we get in, and we ride this wave upwards. From there, right to that top there. I'll just make that arrow a little bit bold, make that pink as well. So see, Tertius, what we do is we want to get in there somewhere and just ride that wave upwards till there and get out. Now, look at this. If you play this every single time, this is why I say there's 12 months left. We're going to have about 7 times that we can have these massive trends, okay? And we're going to have about 6 times that the market is going to drop big time. But we're going to make money when the market drops as well. And I want people to understand this, you know. Okay, now if we play this market here and we don't care what happens here, up and down and sideways, we know that over this period of time the market is going to go up. I'm going to show you something interesting shortly as well. So if you play that market in Bitcoin, you would have made 44%. That's big money in Bitcoin. But in your cryptocurrencies, you can easily double that money. So that would give you a 80% return on your cryptocurrencies. So we get out right before that pink line and we get in just after this pink line here. Now the markets always go up and it always goes down. Now let's say, for example, and I'm going to give you this example here. So let's say you've got $10,000 right here at this level here, and you sell that now. And let's say Bitcoin is about 5,000 at that time. So that means that you sold and you've got 2 BTC. Okay, so there you go. Now you've got $10,000 there. Now let's say the market starts coming down here and we are correct, and the market, now let's say the market goes the same level here and we have a $3,000 Bitcoin. Now you've got 10,000 divided by 3,000 Bitcoin. Now suddenly you use that same money, you buy back, and you've got I think it's 3.3 Bitcoin. Okay, so you use the same amount of money, the 10,000. When the market drops, you've increased from 2 Bitcoin to 3.3 Bitcoin. I hope everybody understands that. Okay, now when the market is right down at the bottom, when you buy in again, we ride that wave up again. So now you've got 3.3 Bitcoin. When you get to the top there, you'll have 3.3 Bitcoin times 5,000, which gives you 15,000. So you make money. Be very conservative here when you buy. Don't be greedy. You buy and you exit the market before the top. And sometimes it's very difficult for people to see they've exited the market right there, and the market still goes up and up and up and up and up for maybe a week or 2. But you have to be very, very careful and get out of the market and just do that play, get out. Because I tell you guys now, that pink line there, that is the resistance line. Bitcoin will really struggle to break through that pink resistance line. And we just don't see anything in the algorithm that we are going to break out above that. Now, let's say if it does break out above, and somebody asked me the question the other day, what if it goes to 6,000? Then we said, we don't get back into the market. We may only play 10% of our money and ride it and ride it and ride it. And then the guy said, but what if it breaks out to 14,000? Before 14,000, we will catch that. We will know that it is in a confirmed uptrend. But here, unless we get over that pink circle line, we will not play in that level, because that level there can 90% break down, 10% break up. And we don't mind to lose a bit of profit. It's better than to get in there when we see there's a confirmed uptrend. And the way that you're going to see that confirmed uptrend is, look, there's major resistance here. There's major resistance here. For Bitcoin to break above that big drop there, that is major resistance. Now, yes, if Bitcoin breaks above that line, let's say, and we get upwards to about 6, 7, then it could potentially take off. But we just don't see that given the nature of Bitcoin over the last 12 months and the price moving downwards. And we don't see it in our algorithm as well. So I hope everybody understands that principle of selling on the top there, and you wait. And sometimes I tell you what, it's terrifying. You sit out in the market and you wait and wait and wait. In 2017, I only traded 70 or 90 days, around there, between 70 and 90 days. I can't remember exactly, of the entire year. Last year, we traded about 127 days because of the volatility in the market. So just keep in mind, we're not going to trade the entire year. We're not going to have all our money in the year, in the markets. Think about this. If you can double your money and you can make an 80% profit in cryptocurrencies, many stocks, as a matter of fact, almost 80 to 90% of stocks in the world stock markets, you won't find those returns. You're lucky if you make 10%, 15%. Any other questions there, guys?
Yeah, Mark. Oh, go ahead.
No, carry on.
Marius, this is Ray again. I just want to be a little bit more clear about when you were talking about the 10,000 up there and the 2 BTCs, and then the market starts selling off, and then you talked about it going down, or you gaining 3.3 BTCs. So are you shorting the market? Are you saying that you're shorting the market then? How would you get to 3.3? I'm confused again.
Okay, remember the goal of investing in Bitcoin or any cryptocurrencies is to increase the amount of Bitcoin that you can accumulate. You should convert your portfolio back into Bitcoin at a continuous basis. So let's say, for example, if you have 40,000 now, okay, in the market, or let's take 10,000 as this. Okay, I'm just writing it down. Now 10,000. Okay, let's just bring my calculator out here. Now 10,000 at this moment, how much Bitcoin is your portfolio worth in Bitcoin? If your portfolio is 10,000, we need to go and have a look and see what is the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin at the moment on my screen there is 3796. So I'm going to take the $10,000 divided by 3796. That will give me a Bitcoin value of my portfolio of 2.63 BTC. Okay.
Okay.
So you always need to convert your portfolio back into BTC to see if you are increasing your portfolio, not the US dollar. The US dollar is going to take care of itself. Bitcoin is eventually going to go upwards and is going to go to 20,000. But what you want to do, you want to increase your Bitcoin. Now, let's say if the market, and we're assuming now that the market is going to go upwards according to this blue line, and we come right here to the top at $5,000, and let's say right down there, we decide to sell. Okay, now we assume that, let's assume now that you have 10,000 at that time. Bitcoin is $5,000 a coin. That means that you have now 2 Bitcoin. Okay?
Okay.
So now you've got 2 Bitcoin, but the value is still 10,000 US dollar. Now we are assuming that the market is going downwards. It goes down, 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 and it goes down here to $3,000. And we make a call. By the way, we do expect the market to go down. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So let's say if we get down here to $3,000. Now remember, you've still got $10,000. So if you take $10,000 cash, the US dollars that you had, because you had 2 Bitcoin that you sold at 5,000, okay, now you convert it into cash, so you still got 10,000, divided by $3,000 what the Bitcoin is going to cost you. Now suddenly you increased your Bitcoin from 2 Bitcoin there to 3.3 Bitcoin. Are you still with me there?
Okay. Trying.
See, what has happened now? You've literally increased from 2 Bitcoin to 3.3. That's over, what is that percentage gain?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a lot. It's like 50% or more.
Yeah, so you probably increased it by 60%. Can you see why I say in a downtrend, that's when you make your money. That's when you make your Bitcoin. That's why a lot of people get so angry when the market goes down, and they can't understand why I am so happy. And on Twitter, I'm the most positive person when the market goes down. It's because people don't understand this principle. You must have the downs. I am so happy when the market goes down. I tell you, I can't believe it. You know, we sold. Okay, think about this now. In our previous reports, we started selling at about 5.7, I think, almost $6,000. So think about this now. If I had $100,000, I'm just taking an example. I'm not saying that that is the case. 100,000 divided by yeah, okay. Let's say at the high point when we started selling at 5.7. Now remember, okay, so I've got $100,000 now, and I just want to give you this example. So $100,000 divided by 5,700 would have given me 17.5 Bitcoin. Now that same $100,000, when I came here down at the bottom, I started buying, and I think it was at about 3.2 where we started entering major buys. So divide that by 3,200. I've increased my Bitcoin from 17 to 31.25 Bitcoin. Can you see why the drops? The drop in Bitcoin price is what you want. That's why you are conservative in playing the green zone. You don't worry about these little profits that you lose on the bottom and those little profits that you potentially can lose on the top. You are a conservative trader. And sorry, I was actually mentioning to this guy who wanted to invest $2 million and he wanted to go risky. And I said to him, no way, we can't do that for you. We're not going to do that. We're always going to play the conservative approach. And when I explained to him yesterday and said, but we're going to make money on the downtrend, his eyes suddenly popped. And you could see it over the Zoom meeting. He suddenly, it's like a penny dropped. And he realized that I've been playing the market wrong the whole time. So guys, this is, you always want to increase your Bitcoin. The US dollar is going to take care of it automatically. And how the US dollar is going to take care of it, let me explain that to you. If we go here to the day chart. Now, I'm here on the day chart, and you can see that the markets, if you go back and you have a look at the weekly charts, now have a look at this, what the market always does, okay? The market here, and let me just get something to indicate what I'm doing here. Where is that? Look at this, the market went up here on the left-hand side and it dropped, okay? Now that drop is pretty significant. It just looks small. But if you have a look at this little drop here, look at that, that's an 85% drop. That drop, okay, is exactly the same drop that we had here on the top for Bitcoin. Approximately there. Okay, it shows a little bit different, but that drop is still 85%. Okay, that drop there, it went up when it came down 85%. So if you had $100,000, you would have lost 85%. Exactly what people did now here on the top with Bitcoin. Now look at these drops here that has happened here. And I'll probably just take it from the top and bring that downwards. There you go, another 80% drop. Okay, now keep that in mind. But look what happened. The market dropped, the market always came back up again. The market dropped there, and the market always came back up again. Then the market dropped again. Now have a look at this again. So this is why you just need to understand how this market works. You know, look at that again. There we go, another 81%, 85, 82, 81. That's how the market keeps dropping. So nothing is different from what you see here at the market, you know, where the market just simply went up. And let's see if we can retrace that. I just can't see, it's too small, but let's say approximately about 80%. Now have a look at this. If you look at this, we are now 82%. This one dropped 81%. This one dropped 82%. That one dropped 85%. What is coming next? Okay, what is coming next? History always repeats itself. Now, what is coming next? And I've gone through that on some of the webinars with many of the older Python Signals people here. What's coming next is a sideways move, sideways, and it's gonna go upwards again. There we go. And we're gonna break $150,000 Bitcoin. Okay? The reason I'm saying this is, now you understand why you want to increase your Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes back to $20,000, you've got now 20,000 times 3.3 Bitcoin and not 2 Bitcoin. So that's why I say the US dollar is going to take care of it on its own. Give yourself a year to become really, really rich. It's going to happen. Anybody that invests approximately around about $50,000, and remember again, I'm just stating the obvious now here. This is not financial advice, because I don't want anybody to come and sue me. And just be mindful of that, guys. You know, this is why we changed our reports as well. You'll see in our reports now what we do because of certain people. You know, we had to go and change it now, and we say the private Bitcoin and cryptocurrency education and training update. It's because of nasty people that want to come and sue us because, and I'm just being open and honest here with you guys now, you know, when you get your team members in your business in Python Signals, make them aware that this is a guideline, okay? Nowhere have we ever said to anybody, buy. We have made it a recommendation. If you go down to this report here, it says exit plan and entry plan. And we used to say, if you go back to the older reports, we used to say this is not financial advice. And then on the bottom, this disclaimer says it as well, okay? So when we make these recommendations, unfortunately now we have to put in for training purposes only, not financial advice. So that's the reason why that is in there. Is you won't believe people, you know, it's unbelievable. Anyway, let's just get back to this. So the dollar is going to take care of it on its own. $50,000 at this moment. I'm not suggesting that you put it in now because I think there can be another lower low. But in the next low, I tell you now that $50,000 is going to turn into $1 million. Mark my words. That is how we see. That's only Bitcoin. And if you invest in cryptocurrencies, we've run the figures over and over and over again. It's astonishing that that a blue-collar worker, and I call myself a blue-collar worker because I'm not a white-collar worker, I'm not a bankster. As a matter of fact, we've cancelled now all contracts with all banks. We don't supply any information to financial institutions anymore, nothing. No algorithm data. We're only going to keep it for my, you know, I've still got my own business that I run, but we're going to keep it all for Python Signals and build this business big. And it's not necessarily for us guys just to build Python Signals big, but every single person that comes in here, we want to make sure that that individual person starts making money. Building the business, it's a bonus. It's a complete bonus that you can actually make Bitcoin. Now suddenly you are seeing the value of making Bitcoin when you get your team members in. Whenever Python Signals pays you in Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is so valuable. Imagine if it goes to $100,000 a Bitcoin. I mean, it's insane money. You know, it's like a double whammy. If you can manage to make one Bitcoin just for this year out of Python Signals, that could potentially give you $20, $30, $40, $100,000. So it's worth it. Never ever sell your Bitcoin into cash. Try and accumulate as much Bitcoin as what you can. So I hope this big view picture that I just showed you now, that 85% drop, you can literally see that Bitcoin is right now almost right down at the bottom. And let me just go back to that 1 hour chart. So just
Maurice, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for sharing this with us, because I think it's very important for, I mean, I see we've got about 40 people on the call tonight. And from the names I'm seeing, most of them are business builders. I think it's very important for us to make sure we get in contact with the people that we've introduced to Partner Signals and make sure that the subscribers are up to date, because this is the time that you want to be taking advantage of the information. As you know, I've been working with the tree a lot so that we can spread people right across the tree to get the biggest benefit for everyone in the team. And I see a lot of positions as I'm going across, as I'm browsing through, a lot of those positions are no longer funded. People have maybe paid for a month or two and they've fallen by the wayside. It's our responsibility as leaders, your responsibility as someone that you've introduced, to say to them, listen, did you see this latest webinar? Make sure that you take advantage of the offers that are there, because this is the time that you can actually use the income that you're generating from Partner Signals to increase your Bitcoin holdings, even if you don't do anything else.
Tertius, that's a great point. And Wendy, who runs her own business in Python Signals, I don't run a business there. She runs her own. She's been doing that constantly this week. And we've spent some time with people on the webinar. And if you guys want to get me on a Zoom meeting, we can go through this information again, live. Some people just like to get it live. If not, use this recording, show it to people. Tertius is correct. The thing that's going to make you money is education. Educate people how to make money in Bitcoin, what to do with the Bitcoin. And again, I'm saying this, number one, the number one objective for you is to become debt-free in Python Signals. You get in, you get the membership, you get the reports, and you trade according to the reports. Now you start making money. Secondary, you build a business by just referring people to Python Signals. You get them into your team. And it's very important what Tertius said there now. Look, we don't run a kindergarten here. We can set up a system where silver subscribers where we take the money automatically. Okay, so we can set it up where we ding them and we take the Bitcoin and they fund their silver wallet every single week or every month. We can do it with Galaxy every year as well. But we are not a kindergarten here. We want those people to fund their wallets themselves. Nobody here likes it when the bank just simply deducts money off your credit card. I don't like it. Nothing. I don't like it. And so with this, you are in charge of your own business. And I tell you guys now, I really want everybody to get on board and just move forward, because I tell you the big money is coming. You know, many people tell me, I wish I bought Bitcoin when it was 1 cent, 10 cent, $1. You've got the opportunity now to buy Bitcoin at $3,000. I mean, it's cheap. Guys, this is really, really cheap. And look at the alternative coins, the altcoins. We call them altcoins, ALT, or cryptocurrencies or tokens, just alternative coins. Those coins are as cheap as what they were 2-3 years ago. The opportunities are staggering. Right now, at the moment, is the best time to get into the market. And if we play this strategy where we buy in the green zone, where we take that profit, we get out in the pink zones, and we ride the waves down, we increase our Bitcoin, that is the strategy. That is how we must play the market. I mean, Wendy, with Wendy's Bitcoin, only in the last 10 days, Wendy has increased her amount of Bitcoins. She's doubled it. It's incredible. And she's done a few webinars actually with people, I think with, I can't remember all the people now, but she's done a few webinars with people and she shows people what she does, a very simple process. She goes on to CoinSpot in Australia and she looks at coins that have dropped a lot, like Stratus, for example, was one of the ones that dropped a lot. She went and bought Stratus. As soon as it went up 10%, 20, 25%, she sells them. She's making more money than me. I'm feeling guilty here, you know. It's incredible, you know, that you can make that kind of money. And there's a person now who does kind of like day trading or 2-day, 3-day trading. She looks at a coin that has dropped, she buys it, and she sells it when she makes 10, 20%. And we actually took we've got like we just do it manually, you know, a piece of paper with columns, and we print it out every single day. As a matter of fact, mine, I don't want to show this now, but anyway, mine is just a notebook. It's a simple notebook. And all it says here is the amount of Bitcoin that I have in a column. Okay, it's got the date on the column, it's got the amount of Bitcoin that I have, and then it's got the dollar value. And every single day, or not every day, but every 2 or 3 days, I go and have a look and see how did I increase my Bitcoin. And when I look at it, I see, yep, Bitcoin has increased. 1 Bitcoin. Now I've made 3 Bitcoins extra. That's what you want to see. You want to increase your Bitcoin.
So essentially, you're still following the same strategy by analyzing the charts, because you will have seen from that drop that there's a possibility to increase a certain percentage up to the next resistance level, and you could automatically put in sell orders for, say, 50-60% of your holding, and it automatically goes. So that's how you would be increasing your holdings overall. So, Marius, we've also got 2 questions in the chat box. One about the sideways movement, and one about the expected multi-day price jump. I think you did cover that a little bit earlier. Norbert, I see you've been on from the beginning, but perhaps just to retrace and answer those 2 questions. Sideways movement, my opinion would be that's almost going towards day trading, but please, Morris, just give us your insights on those 2 questions.
Yeah, okay. First of all, what we have seen here is that the market actually came downwards and it formed the left shoulder. It went up and formed the head down here. Let me just get rid of these, clear the chart a little bit so it looks easier. Okay. And then it went up to that little apex there, dropped down, and we're right down there now in the head. Now, normally what happens is that this market would actually, at that point there, start breaking upwards to form the right shoulder and then basically break out there and go upwards. That is the obvious point. And if you look at Bitcoin, in the last 12 months, we've seen that 6 times, where the market simply followed that rule, and let me just draw that in, where it would literally come maybe down there, and go up there, another drop here, and then up, and then spike upwards, and something similar like that. But now in this case, what we're seeing here is a sideways movement. And that sideways movement can be categorized as 1, which is A, B, C, D, E. Your E is going to break out somewhere there. Now, I hope I can explain it correctly. Let me just bring up this report here. In this report here, I'm just waiting for that to appear on your screen. Just let me know if you can see that thumbs up, if you guys can see that circles of my mouse. I know there's a bit of a lag sometimes. Okay, there. Okay, you can see it now. Now, remember, our algorithm showed that we're going to go up here, have a spike up there, go a little bit sideways, another spike, and then a long sideways move. Now that sideways move is about the 3rd, where we should have been probably about there now. Remember, all these dates are US. Remember there, UTC -5, that's New York time. Always the same date. We never change the date. The date is always that. So you may be at on the 4th now of January somewhere in the world, but this is actually the 3rd. So we should have been there now, and then have a 2, 3, 4 day sideways move, and then up again. But what has happened is that sideways movement there, if you drop that and bring that down, is now here. So where we are going up and down, up and down, up and down, that is where we now see that A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so when you've got that now in your mind, I'm just going to go back to the chart, but just have a look at that for a second. So we believe that the market will go sideways, spike up here, a little bit sideways, and spike up again. And I'm just going to go back to the chart now here. And let me just delete this blue line here. And just let me know, Tertius, when you can see that chart again. Okay. Just cleaning this up. Sometimes when there's too much on the screen, then you can't really see what's happening. Okay, so effectively, if I were to draw what we previously had, it would have been probably, I think, something like that, sideways there, spike up, sideways, and there. So something similar like that. But now what has happened is that little sideways movement here, if I can grab that, is there. So that's all that has happened really. Now this is one of the things that we investigated, and we had to write a piece of coding software to figure out why that sideways movement is down here. And we found a pattern that keeps repeating itself in a similar fashion, something new that we discovered. The only way that can happen is if Bitcoin is ran with a predefined computerized program. It's very interesting. I tell you guys, it's very, very interesting what's happening with Bitcoin, you know. And I know a lot of people, and let me just quickly get into this also, a lot of people think that Bitcoin was developed by a guy called Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto never existed. He's not a human being. And I'll tell you why I say so. Here in Australia, I don't know if you guys know, when the FBI and the CIA and Interpol and everybody all over the world was looking for Satoshi Nakamoto, they wanted to jail this guy, okay? Who created that FUD, and why did you want to jail a guy for developing Bitcoin? So eventually what happened is, here in Australia, they found a guy who was called Satoshi Nakamoto. And all over the world, and you may have seen that all over the world, where they had these 4 helicopters hovering over this guy's house. They had special forces bombing into his house. They had 100 police there. They had the military there. The biggest show in the entire world was here in Australia. They have found Satoshi Nakamoto. And they dragged the guy out of the house, put him in this, you know, heavy armored vehicle, drove him to the biggest jail in the world, in Australia, and it was all over the world that they found Satoshi Nakamoto. Just to find out later that this guy never even knew about Bitcoin, that he wasn't Satoshi Nakamoto. Now let me ask you this, why would the CIA and the FBI come to Australia and make this big event and blast it all over the world? You know, it's to divert the attention from who really developed Bitcoin, which in our opinion is developed by an American governmental organization. And we've got enough evidence to prove it. Did you guys know that when Bitcoin was released in 2008, officially, you can go to Wikipedia and see the date when it was released. We have 9 months of trading data before Bitcoin was ever released. It was sent to us anonymously. We verified the information, it's true. That data is the same play over and over and over every year. They changed the algorithm a little bit, and we found the mathematical equation, how they change it. And they keep on changing it as well. So Satoshi Nakamoto, I know a lot of people want to believe in Satoshi Nakamoto, that a guy came and he wants to decentralize the world. Look, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is far from decentralized. The government now can see exactly what you do with your Bitcoin, as long as they know your wallet, you know. That's why I say, you know, always, guys, you've got the option. You know, what I sometimes do, I'm not saying this is what you should do, but I create new accounts on new exchanges. And I constantly change my Bitcoin wallet, and I constantly move money from exchange to other exchange. Of course, we have to pay your taxes. But look at what happened at this EU meeting, where all the countries came around and they said, everybody agreed that they are going to basically open source all the information to all governments all over the world. So they will be able to track what you do with your Bitcoin. And if you look at what all these other coins that are called security tokens, I'm just trying to think about one now, Monero, for example, which is said to be a token that is untraceable. It's not true. Everything can be traced. If you do something on the internet, we can find you. This is how we found the 17 wallets. Those 17 wallets have changed their wallet addresses now probably 20 times. We've got software where you put in the wallet and then it runs a sequence and it can tell you which wallet, how they changed the wallet. So, I mean, and then we just find a new wallet again and we keep tracking them. Those 17 wallets are actually now 500 wallets, but in terms of the wallets, there's 17 main wallets. So everything can be traced. And this is one of the ways how the government is going to, where they will be able to see what we do. The Australian government already have got now access to all exchanges all over the world. And so just report your taxes if you need to. But remember, I always like the saying, pay the taxman what you owe him, but don't pay him what he asks. So just be fair with your taxes, you know. So anyway, that sideways movement on the top there is just now here, what we see here. All it's going to mean is that this is going to come to a apex here, and it's most likely going to break out vertical, like literally vertical, something like that, and again, to reach that point of about approximately 10 January. Sorry, let me just drink some water. I don't know if you just want to talk there, Tertius.
If I can just get to the unmute button. Yes, thanks very much, Maurice, for all this information you're sharing with us. Guys, I'm just thinking of something that Maurice is saying, you know, sharing this information that we've got. Let's just be careful with what we do. If you're going to take an extract or some of, you can use some of it or show people a portion where we're talking about how to increase your Bitcoin, but don't go and circulate this replay link and what have you. That's not something that we want to do. We've covered that in a previous webinar, and I think, you know, going to one of the other questions that Rebo has just posted about the model portfolio. Rebo, if I can make a suggestion to definitely watch last week's webinar, we discussed the model portfolio and the fact that it was as a guideline and not necessarily, you know, the be-all and end-all of having those coins all the time. But those are typically the coins that you would be trading. I don't know if you want to just speak to that question, because we've just crossed over the hour, so we've got just less than half an hour to go. I don't know what else you have in store for us tonight, Maurice, but maybe just talk slightly about the model portfolio, the guidance you've given us in terms of the outline, and what coins you're actually currently holding and what you're actively trading.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tertius. Yeah, it's very important also what Tertius said there. I'm just going to cut out the piece of Satoshi Nakamoto. And the reason I just mentioned that, guys, is because when you mention that to a lot of people get agitated. It's kind of like talking politics. So I'm going to cut that piece out. It's advisable probably not to start talking about who developed Bitcoin and all these kind of things, you know, because, as I say, people regard that as politics. But I'm just mentioning it on this call here. And I'll tell you a whole bunch of more things as we get into this year. And for those people who study the Bible, for example, I'm going to go into it at some point. We've done a very big investigation, or research rather, on the book of Revelation in the Bible and how that fits in with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It will stun you. I've never ever released any of this information yet, and we'll do that at some point. So Tertius, here's the model portfolio. Just let me know if you can see that on your screen. Just thumbs up. Okay. So the model portfolio is something that we say. Now, I'm not saying this is what you should do, but I'll tell you how we made a lot of profit by only using these kind of cryptos. Okay. First of all, what we say is that if you take $10,000, for example, what you need to do is to split your $10,000 in this fashion. 70% of your money, like $7,000, should go towards these kind of coins. Number one is Bitcoin. Although My Bitcoin portfolio is probably 0 at the moment. Everything is in altcoins. I don't even trade Bitcoin because Bitcoin will make 40%, altcoins will make double that. I own Litecoin. One of the things that I don't necessarily trade, I sometimes buy and sell Litecoin, but I don't sell, I accumulate Litecoin. But at this point, you're welcome to sell. And what we say is hold about 12% to 25% in Litecoin, probably to the lower side. As a matter of fact, Litecoin has made really good profits over the last 10 days. EOS about 7 to 12%, Omisigo, Neo, Ethereum, Populous, Qtum, Internet of Things, and Stellar. So those are the ones that we hold in our top 10 coins. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to hold, for example, OMG. You may want to put a different coin in there, something that you like, but these should be your primary coins, the coins that always make money. One of the reasons these coins are there is because we do believe that even if the market falls to 0, that these coins will still be there. Or Misigo, for example, very, very strong, already a working product. And those are the kind of things that you want. A lot of these are Populous, very good. Now, the secondary coins is we say 30% of your portfolio, like $3,000, should be in these kind of coins. Digibyte, Tron, Ripple, Stratus, Veritasium, Cardano, and then hold some cash. 10% of this, like $300, or even 10% of the entire portfolio, maybe $1,000, should be held in cash. The reason for that is when there are unexpected big drops, like you may find that, for example, the entire market will go up, and then you'll see that, for example, Populous may suddenly drop for no reason at all. And then you wait for it to drop right at the bottom. And at that bottom, you accumulate, you spend maybe $100 and you buy some extra Populous. That's why we say always hold some cash. And then obviously you are going to buy and sell. Remember this, Tron may have a big spike upwards, and I believe it is going to spike upwards, like huge. When Tron spikes upwards to that top level, you sell Tron and you put that money back in cash, and you buy some other coins that are maybe at the low. Stratus may be at the low. Like Stratus, for example, made us a 255% gain. I mean, it's incredible. Stratus. And when it was right at that peak, at that top, I sold. I took my profit because I said to myself, wow, this is unbelievable. You know, so just remember these are secondary coins. Then what we say is 5% of your portfolio, you can take that 5% either from the secondary coins or from the 70%. So that is where that 5% comes from. These are secondary coins, or basically tertiary coins, your third row of coins. And we say ONT, Theta, WAX, AGI, WTC. These are long-term holds. And I've gone through a video of Walton Coin, Singularity Net, and WAX, and also Digibyte. You really want to keep those cryptos. Like we have spent an X amount of money, and I'm just keeping it in Walton Coin. Like, let's say you want to throw maybe $100 or $500 behind Walton Coin, AGI, and WAX. And what you do, you simply keep it. You don't sell it, you just keep it. Small amounts of money, because these things, in our opinion, those three are going to go up 6,000% within the next 12 months. That is what we believe that's going to do. And if you take, let's say, for example, $500, you can go and work it out. It's huge money. By the end of this year, you can pay off your car, pay off your debit card. And then we've also got 10X, KMD, Lisk, PIVX. PIVX is really good. CND, BAT, ZRX, and ADX. This is in my third row portfolio. Now, these are the coins that we have found that makes the most amount of money. It's impossible, guys, to trade with all 2,000 cryptos. And you're going to get burned if you go to CoinMarketCap and you start looking at the, I always look at the first 100, maybe 200 cryptos. Anything lower than that, you can get burned very, very quickly. Wendy herself got burned, where she bought certain cryptos, and guess what happened? She can't sell them, she can't move them. It's just lying there. The coin has literally gone into amorphous mode. So be very careful, you know. You want to choose coins that are liquid, that have got a project behind it, that's got a team that develop it. That's why you won't necessarily see Ethereum Classic here. Ethereum Classic is one of those that I would still buy, but I would be very cautious. Always think about this. And many people ask me, they say, what about TEL? What about ETC? What about this coin, that coin? And all I always look at is, I would always comment and say, I look at it and say, this has got very low volume, but are there not a better coin than that? Better coins are these coins. It may not give you the big gains, but OMG, Neo, Ethereum, Populous, they're very safe. They will give you 60, 70, 80% gains. Rather take that smaller gain than a 200 or 300% gain, which is very risky. Remember, most of those coins, they go up 300% and they drop 400%. And then you sit with something. Now you have to wait it out. You have to wait it out for the coin to go up to its all-time high. Now you wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, suddenly it comes back up. But you've lost the opportunity with your money now. Your money is now tied up, or you've made a big loss. So you don't want to lose anything. What was the other question there, Tertius? I know it was about the model portfolio and something else.
Yeah, no, the other one was the one that was about the model portfolio. No, it looks like that was it. The previous question was making sideways money on the sideways market. You've answered that. Yeah, and we've got some feedback thanking us for the clarity on the model portfolio. So I think that's all the questions for now that I can see. If anybody has other questions, guys, please make sure we get them in good time, because we're approaching 20 past now, and we've committed ourselves to sticking to at the most an hour and a half. So we don't want to keep people going too long. So Morris, that's it, I think, from this side. From your side, anything else? What can we expect the next week or so?
I think what's really important now for the next 10 days, well, there's only about 6 days till the top of the market, which we think is going to be about 10 January. Now, keep in mind that we always in our reports say that we talk about time expansion. We can always have the sideways movement going a little bit longer and the market going up after the 10th, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 maybe. So keep that in mind. We need to see that uptrend spike, but we will keep you up to date with new reports as we go. And then also the top 40 crypto report, go and read through that again. These are the levels that we see. We give you an indication where ADX is going to go. As a matter of fact, I think where the market is now, I am going to produce a new report. But when you look at this report, it's very important that you just look at there's just an error in there, and that error I think is with WAX. That should be 0.09. Okay, so if you ever find errors in our reports, please just email me or get in touch with me and we'll fix it. There is actually a revision 2 available now. Very important that you always have a look at this as well. We will put the revision in there. I don't know if that appears on the screen, just let me know. That says revision 1. There is a revision 2 out now, so always make sure that you do read the latest report, because we do find there could always be some errors. So Tertius, this is probably, I think, one of the most important documents really that people need to go and read and look at EOS, for example, there, a 71%. As I say, I'm going to update that now just to give us the relevant figures, but I think these figures will not be very far off. They're going to be very, very close to what they are now. But choose those that can make a lot of profit. Ethereum is still good. If you want to go safe, go to Ethereum, because Bitcoin is probably going to make about 38% gain, Ethereum about 50. Although these things like Funfair look good, be very careful for those coins. Always have a look at the volume, but still good gains to be made. See, Omisigo about 60%, 66. See, this is what I say. If you look at that model portfolio that we have, Populous, all the coins, now look at that, all the coins that we selected are the coins that can make the most gain. They're always strong coins. Qtum is a little bit lower there, but it probably has gone up a lot more. Salt is another good one. Have a look at that as well. If there's any other coins that you want us to include in the top 40 crypto, we don't mind to go to 45, even 50. Let us know and I can include that as well. Like somebody asked me in Python signals for TEL, we'll probably include that as well. I don't think that is in here. No, it's not. So yeah, Tertius, yeah, I still see a very good uptrend for the next week. Hopefully over this weekend we can have a bit of an uptrend, but we also, let's just quickly go through this. My sell point is exactly below the right shoulder. Keep this in mind. If the market ever drops below the 3.5, my level was actually about 3, yeah, there it is, 3.570. See exactly there? There's just a warning there. If the market comes back and drops below that 3.560 level, be very, very cautious, because then the markets can break down. So I'll actually put that in my reports as well. Always have an exit plan when the markets go wrong. And that thing is not in our reports. I realized that the other day. So 3.650, remember that. But we do see the markets rather breaking upwards. And that is confirmation of that. That is actually a bullish pennant, which is going to break out upwards. There's more positive indicators, more bullish indicators than bearish indicators. But we always have to be, you always have to cover your back. Okay. Tertius, yeah, that's great.
It's at the end of the day, thanks very much, Maurice. At the end of the day, it's about probabilities. And this is like planning a day at the beach. You don't just take your swimming costume and your towel. Sometimes it's prudent to take a jacket and maybe an umbrella or something as well, in case it rains. So at least we have some indicators so that we can see the storm clouds coming and know when it's time to get that jacket out. As you've said a number of times, we don't run a kindergarten here. Guys, let's be responsible with what we do. Let's take, I think that's one of the biggest lessons behind crypto is it's time that one can take responsibility for your own future and for your own finances. But it's more than, just doing what other people say. You need to treat this like a business and it'll pay you like a business. I see, Maurice, you on your Wyckoff events there. So you finish off with that for us tonight.
I'll finish off with this. Just go and do a little bit of study and just type into Google Wyckoff event and go and have a look at Wyckoff. Study that. This is where the market came downwards. You'll see that we are following the exact pattern. Now we've gone up here a little bit and we're in a sideways move here. That SOS, which is actually a pattern of advances, SOS just stands for pattern of advances, is actually a little bit lower on that level there. So the next what happens after that, can you see that narrows down the A, B, C, D, E, and then a breakout. So we kind of like just here, and if you study Wyckoff, you'll see there's a variance in Wyckoff where the SOS pattern becomes lower, the LPS is lower, and then SOS is lower as well. And then we have that breakout. So at the moment, Bitcoin is following this exact path. And if you go to wyckoff.com, you'll actually see the variance in patterns there. Guys, so there's so many bullish indicators, and then that together with the head and shoulders, it's playing out really perfectly. So we hope that we see that breakout very soon, and I'll produce a new report, which will give you the exit points as well, once we get above 5,000. We may even go as high as 4.7, but we just need to validate that information, and I'll produce a new report. Remember, we want to get you in on the low, get you out on the high. And when the market drops and goes down, we're going to come back at that bottom again and buy more Bitcoin. And that's how we increase our Bitcoin. Always take a snapshot of your portfolio today, convert it back into Bitcoin, and see how much Bitcoin you have. You may have 2.6317 Bitcoin. Dot it down on a piece of paper with columns. Next time, you want to increase. You want to make sure that your Bitcoin is increasing. That is where you ultimately, in a year from now, going to make a lot of money. Listen, thank you very much, guys. Yeah, thank you, Tertius. Thank you, everybody.